get more excited when I see my team make sales than I do. I could sell a 5,000 AP policy, but be more happy that a new agent wrote 500. And that feeling doesn't ever go away. I get more excitement. If Michaela was here, she would tell you, I scream, yell when I see people hit the Slack in the sales channel, because it's exciting to see that someone you brought into this business, or someone that you helped, with their phone script or their, sales process, whatever, make a sale. You know what the work you put in help somebody else and help their family and protect the family that they were with. So that is what's really exciting as you start to grow a team and you start to develop agents, and you start to develop leaders, is now it's bigger than you. And when you're on this journey, it can be a very lonely journey if you make it. Dialing alone sucks. So the fact that you guys all came in here is great, but the fact that you weren't in here this morning makes me wonder, are you trying to get better, right? And I know some of you guys were over there, so I don't know who's all here in the morning or whatnot, but you have to put in the effort to get around other people. My business changed when I decided to get out of my house and go to Rob Richmond's office. The dude was like the #3 producer in 2020 or 2, whatever, it doesn't matter. But he was one of the top sales guys at Family First Life in 2020. When he told me that he had an office, in my general area, it was 20 minutes away from where I lived, and he told me I should come, I look forward to that every single week. One, he wasn't in my group, so I didn't communicate with him all the time. So it gave me something to look forward to even after the shitty days, right? I knew after 2 bad run days, I could at least spend some time with Rob Richmond. After having a crappy week, I could go spend some time and learn from one of the best. And I'm sharing this with you guys because you have these different offices all across the country that a lot of people aren't utilizing. It's crazy to me that I'm in Dallas, Texas, and there's days where there's 3 agents in the office. Yeah. I know there's 100 agents in the area, minimally. We're a big company. Dallas is a big metro area, but people want this work from home and do everything on their own, but dialing alone sucks. Working alone sucks. So why not surround yourself with people who are exceeding or doing well, and then all of a sudden you start to talk like them. I could fire off my mortgage protection script that's exactly verbatim Rob Richmond's script, because I heard him say it so much, then I started saying it. Now I could say it in my sleep. And people are like, oh man, what's your script, man? It's it's not my script, it was Rob's. I just literally stole it and started using it. But I heard him say it enough that I was confident enough that it worked. And that's another thing that I just want to touch on is scripts. Everyone's like, John, what's your script, man? Can I get your script? Just stick to a script. A script is structure. A script isn't going to get you sales. A script isn't going to get you appointments. It gives you structure on how to control the conversation. All a script is giving you a general idea of how to ask the questions in the right manner. I like to really simplify it. There's 4 parts of a script. The first one is verifying their information, or identifying who they are. Because they get, all of us, we get a ton of telemarketing calls, a ton of all these calls, and we don't fill out forms. So can you imagine what people who do fill out forms, how their phones are all the time? And so the first aspect of booking an appointment of a script should just be identifying who they are with their information. It's verification, right? And then you transition into what we do. This is all non-medical, simplified issue. We're not going to send out a doctor, the whole 9 yards. You just explain what we do. We're non-medical. And then you transition into clearing the schedule. That's all it is you're working retired disabled. That's how you make that transition into the third aspect of a script. And then once you understand their schedule, the fourth aspect is booking the appointment. You can say whatever the hell you want in between there. It doesn't really matter. It's just those 4 aspects of a script that you have to understand what to say. And I see so many people struggle on the phones because they're trying to memorize a damn script. But if you would just memorize the components of the script and be yourself, you'll start to book a lot more appointments. Because when you're a robot and you're reading off something, that tonality, they can hear that coming from you. But when you're natural, now you're a human being. I always want to humanize myself. That's a big thing of this business, is just being you. So many people want to be Cody Fuller. So many people want to be Willis Hicks, but it's they're just themselves. They just work really hard and they understand the psychology of booking an appointment. And it's that same 4 components. Like, let's simplify it instead of just trying to say all these words that aren't your words. They're someone else's words. And then what happens is this script didn't work this one dial day. So the next dial day, John, I'm going to try Yoda's script. And then the next dial day, I'm going to try Marcus's script. And then now we're bouncing back and forth. And we're just continuously failing because we're hopping all over the place. That's why I just see. So like, I'm here to tell you, just stick to one script. It doesn't matter whose it is. You just need to get that general idea of how to control the conversation to book in the appointment. But really, guys, like, everything changed for me when I started talking to more people. That's at the end of the day, that's what it is. All last year, every conference, every sales training I was at, I preached your network at FFL will dictate your net worth at FFL. If you're only talking to John, you're only going to be as good as John. Now, John is pretty damn good, I'm not going to lie, but you're only going to get his opinion or his perspective. Whereas if you get his perspective, you get Jared's perspective, you get Yoda's perspective, you get Jared's perspective on it. Now you put those together and make it your own. And so I challenge all of you guys here to find 2 or 3 more people to start talking to in this business. What I would tell our agents is there should be 5 people that you're talking to every single week. 1, definitely the person who brought you into this business, but you need 2 running mates, 2 competitors, 2 people in the same situation as you. If you're new, then it's 2 new agents that are just getting started. If you're writing 15K, it's someone who's writing 10 to 20K. If you're writing 20 to 30, it should be someone in 20 to 30, whatever those metrics are. But you should have some competitors. They hold you accountable. They push you harder. It's not to bitch and moan and complain to them. It's to, hey, what would you do in this situation? How did your week go? What leads are you running? What is working for you? And now all of a sudden you're building a partnership with somebody and you guys are pushing and pulling each other to the next level. And then you should have 2 mentors outside of your person who brought you in this business. And whatever that means to you, mentor, right? Like, for me, it was Rob Richmond, right? I got lucky enough that a guy who wasn't on my team, didn't get any monetary value, would help me. But you want to know why he helped me? Does anybody have any guess at why he decided to help me? I was there. I earned his respect through showing up and asking good questions and applying what he was saying. All of you can do that. It doesn't matter where you're at in the country or what office you're at. You'll demand respect and time by consistently showing up. Any of you can do that. So I would just challenge you guys to find 2 to 3, 4, whatever people that is. 2 competitors would be great. 2 mentors would be great. If you can get 1, that's still better than none. If you get 1 competitor, that's still better than none. But if you have 5 people that you're consistently talking to on a weekly basis, you're going to keep leveling up. Going to keep growing. And that's the whole goal here. That's why all of you guys are here, is because you wanted to hear something that I would say to help your business. Well, if you're not listening, I just gave you some pedigree for you to level up your game. And all of you can do that. It's not anything special. It's just communicating with people. And FFL is filled with a bunch of really great people who are more than willing to help you without a monetary value. I don't know how many times Cody has talked to people that aren't on our team to help them. But what has that done? It makes him a better leader. So that's that mental barriers. We don't want to bother them. We don't want to, they're busy. We're all busy, but we all got time. I'll tell you that much. We all got 24 hours in a day. And taking 10 to 15 minutes isn't that big of a deal. And you're actually sharpening their tool or their whatever you want to call it, their iron, right? To get them to become a better person. So if you just think about people that way, all of a sudden you're never bothering anybody. You're actually helping them get better. They're going to help you get better. So I just shared that with you guys because I think it's super important. That's what held me back the longest. And there's nothing wrong with Jordan at all, but like, I knew that I wanted to sell more than he ever sold. So how could I only talk to him and expect to sell more than he sold when he can't get me there? Yeah. So I had to go find someone to take me there, to get me to that point. And then obviously, as you go on, you learn, it's just complete failure. You don't know how many times I've failed in this business, so much. But what really happens is you just get over the mountain of fear and you're on the other side of the mountain and you're fearless. about leads. You're fearless about dumping money into recruiting. You're fearless about a chargeback. You're fearless about an agent quitting because you know there's more to come as long as you keep going. But we have to climb that mountain, and it's a slippery mountain. I'll tell you what, you're gonna fall down, hit your head, your nose is gonna be bleeding, not really, but it feels like it. Feel like you got punched in the face, but you're just climbing this mountain of fear, because we all got it. It's okay to be fearful. Like, I'm not trying to be some brave person or anything, but like, you have to get to that other side. And on the other side, it's a great view. The air is fresh. You know what I mean? But it takes time. And that mountain, the cool part about that mountain and climbing it, you dictate that time frame. It can be a year, it can be 6 months, it can be 3 months. You get to compress time with your work ethic, which is cool. Because I can't hold you back from learning this, because it's all up to you at the end of the day. And so if we can climb that mountain and get to the top of that mountain quicker, now we can turn around and try to help more people get up that mountain. And it's hard. And there's these different things that are gonna pop up in your brain, in your mind, those mental barriers. And I just think about all these different mental barriers that I had, and I was scared to death of mortgage protection. I don't know why, because they told me to run final expense. It was simple, cut and dry. Mortgage protection, they're gonna be smart. They're gonna be, they got jobs. They got life insurance. You know what I mean? But I put this mental barrier in my head that they were gonna be so much smarter than me. And then once I got into mortgage protection, I'm like, oh, this is still the same thing. Asking the right questions. Yes, they might be a little bit more educated. That's okay. But at the end of the day, it was just something that I put in my own brain. And we all are going to do that, whatever that is, if it's a lead type or a specific type of a vendor or whatever. But the way I look at it is, if you can just look at that barrier in your mind and say, you're not going to stop me, and you get on the other side, that's when you grow. That's when you grow the most, is that uncomfort zone. So every time you get something in this business that you're afraid of or telling you not to do it, and you do it, man, that's hell of empowering. And that's how you build confidence, because you overcame your mind and just did it. Like that triple dial. Like, how many of you are scared to triple dial? I mean, it's okay. You don't have to admit it in front of everybody, but I was, and I'll admit it, I was. I dial them twice, and I'm like, think about it 2-3 times. Oh, next lead, whatever. Keep it moving. But then I started dialing that third dial, and then all of a sudden I started booking more appointments. All of a sudden I started making more sales. So when you get these different mental barriers, like, man, I don't know if I want to do it. I pull up to the house, know I need a door knock, keep going. How many of you have done that, right? We probably all have done that, right? But if you get the hell out the car, knock on the door, your heart beating because you don't know what's gonna happen, that is you growing. That's you taking a step forward. You're growing or dying. It's that simple. I mean, it sounds a little bit harsh, but you ain't staying the same. You're either going forward or going back. And what I realized is I like to just keep going forward, because if you go back, now you got to take another step to move forward. So I share all of this with you guys because I was in your guys' shoes. I'm nothing special. I promise you that. I just became passionate about helping people. I knew that I knew since I was a child that I like to help people. I went to school, got a recreation and parks management degree, because at 18 they told me I needed to figure out what I wanted to do. So I tried to figure out a degree that was somewhat helping people. And so I got into that, and I soon realized that there's no money in Parks and Rec. I love Parks and Rec, but there ain't no money in it. And so I knew I was destined for more, or to actually be able to impact people another way. And I thank God that my resume sucked, because it led me to Family First Life. That's what the cool part is we don't need to be some special person. Our resume can suck. No one can call us back, and we can make this opportunity work for us. And so every time you get that weird thought in your brain, like, I don't want to do this all, or whatever hesitation that you get with whatever part of this business, I promise you on the other side of that is success. Picking up the phone and calling somebody. man, I don't know what he's going to say, what he's going to do. Like, I heard it a couple weeks ago with Sean Mike, and it just hit so different. He was like, we all are so worried about what other people think of us. That's okay. It's just how we are bred. The society is, right? And so when we're dialing the phone, we're so damn worried about what's going to happen. What are they going to say? Are they going to hang up on me? Are they going to answer? Is this going to go well? If we would not care what they thought or how the situation would go, you would book a lot more appointments. You would make a lot more sales. So just hit that button. Just hit the button. That's all you got to do. And I booked more appointments off the third dial than I've ever done the first or second dial in 2.5 years. So just, you got to get over these different things. And I get it. I was all in your guys' shoes. And that's what's cool is as you progress through this business, you look back and you laugh at something, and then it's just a part of the story. It's just a part of the story. Like, I tell everybody that the first 4 months of this business were horrible for me. I was spinning the wheels the whole 9 yards. And at that time, it felt like the world was ending. I couldn't do anything right. So I get it, but hindsight is a part of the story that you get to share with people later on. You just got to keep going, and you can make a joke out of it or whatever it is. But that's just a little bit about me, guys. We can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. But I just wanted to make that very clear that I've been in your shoes before, and I'm no different than you, other than I didn't quit, and I started to talk to more people. That's really like all you have to do is not quit and talk to more people. This is a communication business. The better communicator you become, the better agent you become, the better agency owner you become. Like, on the other side of me thinking John was so busy, now we're here in Atlanta. Now my guys are meeting people they never would have met before. They're getting to see John in action and explain different things. Like, no one has ever taught us to look at how many appointments are booked versus issued paid numbers. Like, that's so crucial to me. And I've been going 2.5 years without ever thinking about that at all. Because trying to tell a guy who writes 6,000 that he's no different than the guy writing 40 is really hard to just say. But if you can put a number on it, numbers don't lie. So now we have something that we can immediately implement into our business and apply, and as I imagine is going to increase sales. So that's just a little bit about me. We can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. But I'm just honored and blessed to be here with you all. And I don't ever take any of these things lightly. I put my heart into it, and once I get fired up, I start going, if you guys can't tell, because I love what we do. And it's not that I love selling life insurance. I just love helping people. And I've been on both sides of the spectrum. And I think that, like, if you've never really had an emotional experience with life insurance, it's hard to sell life insurance if you don't really care about people. Because you have to care about people to be able to actually sell life insurance. Now, if you've had a story or an instance with life insurance, now you have everything in the world to share with your clients. Like, my grandma died with no life insurance, and we're putting money in. And it was a year before I got here at Family First Life. 2 of my first 3 death claims at Family First Life were my grandpa and my stepdad. Wow. So if I wouldn't have joined Family First Life, his dad would have died without any life insurance. But he got paid. That's what's cool to me, right? And I share those stories with people because it's impactful, right? And so if you don't have a story, use that story. Use other people's story. Willis has a hell of a story that he utilizes in the home every time. And I won't share his story because you guys need to get out of your comfort zone and ask him and introduce yourself. I'm not going to tell you his story. Go find out his story. So he tells his story and people feel that. Now it's not actually selling, it's helping. And if you take that approach to your sales, it changes the whole ball game.
Love it, dude.
But that's just a little bit about me.
You don't have no problems talking.
No, man.
I love it.
I'm telling you, once you get me going, I'll go.
Hey, most of us are that way. Yeah.